Can you let me know what you're doing real quick?
So we're reviewing footage. It's always a scary time. Not only that scary because James was literally like watching the monitor the whole time, but what you have in your mind and what the camera captured are also two different things sometimes. And then what you need in order to do the thing that you envision sometimes doesn't always get acquired. But we're sitting here and it's been acquired, baby. Acquisition.
Speed.
So by now, the cats... What's funny is that actually was a cat that made that sound. By now, the cat's out the bag, and y'all know that I'm not actually running for a political office, but I do have a political comedy doc called In Amanda We Trust. It's available now. Go to inamandawetrust.com. But while we're here, let's take a look at the making of on another episode of Amanda on the Move. It's a lot of Amandas.
In the good. Yeah, we've been around the world. Yeah.
But I have made a decision as of today.
Mm-hmm.
I can't work like this no more. I can't. I cannot keep working like this, y'all. You're gonna lose me if I do. So this was the last 30-year-old grind that I have allowed myself to be on, because I'm not in my 30s no more. So make sure you watch it in Amanda We Trust. I'm yawning just thinking back to the timeline to when we went to shoot this. So in my mind, I'm 30, but my body is 42. So it didn't even like faze me when I said, okay, well, what we could do is, boom, we're gonna go to Montgomery, Alabama real quick, do an event there for supportive voting rights. Then we go hop, skip to Atlanta, set up the whole Small Doses set, shoot a couple of interviews with Lene Vanee, Mia J, a solo episode with myself, and then we go hop, skip, and just dive right into shooting in DC. Not even take a day off, just like land and shoot. All of that seemed real, like conscientious and, you know, great use of time when we were setting it up. But boy, oh boy, when we were doing it, I was like, I am tired. My body weary. Nonetheless, we did get it done. Do you want me to be on the phone like it's 1999?
Yeah, because he's actually gonna call. Or do you want to do
Or do
voice?
you want me to do speaker?
What would you do?
I mean, I would do speaker. Because,
Do speaker.
Okay.
Yep, do speaker. And then let's say you sit into, you pick up and then you sit. Okay.
Pick up and then sit?
And then sit more center of bed. How's that look?
Love it.
All right.
Sound speeding.
Sound is speeding.
All right. Reed Baker, take one. Mark.
Perfect.
James Bland is my brother from another, like in just like a myriad of ways. So the first time that I worked with James, he directed my web series Get Your Life, and that was when I first moved to LA. Didn't know him. I just knew that he was on this show called First. And I was like, well, he's fine. And so we got introduced, and he directed the first season of Get Your Life. And he was just so easy, and like he has a confidence about him that you're really like, oh, he got this. And that is like imperative on a set. You want to be able to just, especially if you're like the creative, you want to be able to just like be in acting mode and know that like these people get it, they got it, they're gonna like move this forward. James also, he's great at pushing forward that like things need to happen, but without like panicking about it. I'm not good at that. Like I'm like, we gotta go! And James is really good at like, so what we gotta do is we gotta hurry up. We gotta hurry up. And I also know he's not gonna tell me no BS. If he don't like it, he gonna say, yeah, it bumps me.
Boom.
I appreciate you.
Pulling it together.
Pulling it all together.
I went on Instagram at 8:30 a.m. and said, does anyone in DC have a Shirley Chisholm shirt that you can get to me by 11 a.m.?
And you had it.
Three.
And you had three.
Three different people. People sent it in an Uber.
I love it.
One woman was like, I live in Hampton Roads, but it's a 3-hour drive, it's
Hampton
nothing.
Roads.
And I was like, I cannot allow that.
All right, so quick introduction to the scene. We're gonna have camera up in about 5 minutes. So the way this is gonna work, everything that we talked about in terms of you, the reason why you wanted her to be here, you came to the right place, and then it's right, like, let's get into it. Let's try on some clothes.
Yeah, so that's a quick introduction.
Just a quick-
Hey, Everard is the Ole Cassini of DC. And Ole Cassini was the couturier to Camelot. So if you like Jackie O, he got you covered.
He got you covered.
Right?
Perfect.
So that's why we're here. I've been knowing him forever.
So let me just be clear that Paul Wharton is one of the nicest people on the planet Earth. Like, he really is such an incredibly good person. He's also just like super generous in a way that's like beyond your scope of comprehension. Because he's not just generous with his time, he's not just generous with his talent, he's generous with his network. He is the one who brought us to Everard's, right? And when you're doing a production independently, one of the greatest money saves you can have is not having to pay location fees. And usually that be coming from like people's connections. And so the fact that Paul connected us through his connections to Everard was so incredible, and we thank him so much. He's also just like an incredible like performer. I don't think I knew that Paul could just like hit it on camera. Me and Paul would just riff. And, you know, sometimes you got to go back to one because the camera, you know, wants to do something, or because it's time to get another take, etc. But even if we're going back to one and there's no script memorized or anything, Paul Wharton, honey, was on it.
Because she gonna seals the deal. Now, let me tell you about that.
Let me know when you're goodwill. Let me know.
Things with
Yes.
cameras takes a long time.
Yes, I can see you right now.
All right, let's roll it.
Yes.
All right, let's roll.
Doing just fine. It wouldn't be making it look like I got a smart part. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you want to see changing in Florida?
Oh, child. Do we have time?
I gotta tell you, when you do man on the street interviews, it's always a little bit dicey on what you're gonna get, okay? Because sometimes people just be dumb. People be dumb, or they're just like, sometimes people get nervous, they clam up. That was not the case. We had 11 man on the street videos, and I think you need to understand that 11 keepers is bonkers. Because we weren't just asking like one question, we were asking like several questions. It was a pleasant surprise to just see how willing people were to go along with the questions, how funny people were about how they answered the questions. Everybody had personality, y'all. All of these are real people that like were there, okay? And they all have personality. They all just had their own vibe, and it really, I believe, like took the project to another level. I feel very relieved. And you know what? DC just always shows up. It's like unbelievable to me how consistently DC really like shows up. It's one thing to do man on the street, but this has been exemplary.
Are you excited to shoot in front of the Washington Monument?
Am I excited to shoot in front of the Washington Monument? It's a giant pointy dick. By the way, one thing we don't need is a monument that looks like a giant
And cut.
And that's a full wrap on day one.
Good job, guys.
All right, so tomorrow we're on day 2. This is when the fun begins, because we have other people that we're dealing with, and that's always its own little fun little game. But it'll be a blast. I'm calling it. Coming up. Oof. Anxiety.
Around Congress.
Like, it just doesn't feel like a good place.